Guys, it's the outcome is this. Fabricate. Now grandmother was here to fabricate too. They're trying to pinpoint again, and again. Whatever they want, we'll take it over there because all this was fabricated. Grandma got a lump sum, which I was told by the U.S. government. Made a deal with Ray and Susie, because very close friends from even by email. And we know that for a fact. I was told by the American Embassy in Nogales, Sonora. So due to the fact that Mrs. Hirsch had to fabricate this and pinpoint me, because Felisha was going to testify against Mr. Ray Flynn, aka Gringo Loco, for the damages, taxi, attempted strangulation, and you guys will hear in the audios that got sent when he tells her, right, it's because I love you. You know for a fact this occurred. Now they're trying to pinpoint whatever they want to fabricate. To me, not going to be any difference because she knows for a fact that all this was fabricated. So what? So Ray won't go to jail for the taxi, attempted strangulation because the calls are there, the audios, and witnesses are there. She can't deny that it happened, that it did occur. You'll hear the 14 minutes when Ray first jumped on me. We recorded that part when he attacked me. Coming out of the closet because I seen we used to stay up late. That day we stayed up late. And she knows that for a fact. She had told me hide in the closet. On the conversation motorhome with Susie Flynn, you guys could hear it. It's been online for at least a month there. And plus, like I said, I ain't got nothing to hide. The U.S. Consul had hacked my Gmail and got the calls recorded. Due to the fact they fabricate this, they could pinpoint me. So she was sent, Mrs. Hirsch was sent with her crew, what she called rolling with her crew. She denied, and she never addressed me as her grandmother in Sonorita. As at my last court having it in Puerto Peñasco, she had called me to rush it back to Sonorita. For what? I don't know. What was it? I think she was fearing about me finding evidence. So I rushed it back to Sonorita, when I was done. I must have been there around 8 or 9. Yeah, we got dark. At the store, Vasquez. It's a superstore. Where a lot of tourists go, right? There's a burrito, taco stand outside. It was kind of weird to introduce me to her son and this man. About 3-5 minutes didn't even last a conversation. That sounded kind of weird. And seeing up forward, behind a wall, a couple distance, two people peeking their heads, looking, our way. So I'm like, that looks familiar. That sounded like weird, Seems weird. So I was like, this lady, the call recorded, she thinks I don't have her call recorded from the States, from the Philadelphia number, and Sonorita, which I only play one, like you guys been hearing, but the other ones I have them as backup, with 4 loyal people in America, 4 loyal people in Mexico. So, like I stated, the U.S. Consul had hacked my Gmail and got them calls recorded. That's where when I appeared back in the 19th of December 2019, with my public defender, getting to know my public defender for the first time. So we went to Ministerio Público in Rocky Point, and there the licenciado Rios had mentioned to me, Mr. Mendez, the U.S. Consul came looking for you on the 17th to look for you, her, Felisha, Ray Flynn, and the agent that was using the U.S. government's name to try to extortion me. But now I had to say about me because I thought they did the same thing to her grandmother. So it turns out to be that grandmother is involvement to fabricate this. And knowing due to the fact that Rigoberto Morales Garcia also tried to do on the side extortion and threats, sending text messages, calls recorded that I did record, and I did have them, and I sent them online. So that's why he used somebody else to use and state about Cuba. That Cuba died. Cuba hadn't died. This all started. He's trying to say that it all started because of me. He started this. Rigoberto Morales is my enemy since day one. Since he turned Felisha against me, stating to the old man we were taking care of that I was sending 6,000 pesos from the old man. Also in a funeral of Pamono, which is Rigoberto and this the other midget hanging around with him. I was coming out of the store. There's a Six right across the street where we're staying at, the Hotel Luna. The Velorio Mono was taking some coffee when I bumped into two of these assholes, Rigoberto and Chops, Juan Antonio. Both of those maggots looked at me and started laughing. Ha ha, you killed him because it's your fault. I died. These two young punks addressed me like that in the funeral and a bad timing. It still thinks he's going to overpower me or overwin this case. Rigoberto, as we know, Rigoberto and Rocky Point had, and Midget had stick this young kid, a taquero there from the Black Bull. It seems to me illogical that grandmother and Rigo and the agent have her threatened or scared because it don't seem to me, I hear too much like hurt and damage throughout the fact that all this I created, as I mentioned before, it's not her like she used to be before. And the call recorded when you could hear Mrs. Hirsch. There was a call that they didn't even know got recorded. And you could hear, but Mama, Leo doesn't have any money. And you hear a straight slap. So this is how Miss Hirsch's, a Ruth grandmother and disrespectful as she been fabricating things that have been asking her for alcohol and money. That's when I was in Mexico City. She could look at her call logs when I was with Frena, the grupo in Zocalo, Mexico City. I had got a chip there and I had called her before, right? So I had one of the agents there, the U.S. consulate, my friend Ernie Boyle, had talked to her and she right away was rude. She didn't let him, she didn't let him explain to her. But right away she started turning third on me when we had to put the phone on speaker and I'm hearing everything she's saying about me, which is negative. I met Mrs. Hirsch in Sonorita. No, it turned out to be her. But a different personality, not the person I met on the phone. And she knew about the case and I was explaining to her the case and she got mad because I discovered her on this other last call that I have, that I sent to you guys. And she's over here right now in Puerto Vallarta trying to fabricate sheep. It turned out to be that she's putting charges, or she put charges. But she wasn't there, she couldn't been, and it's not going to stick. That's what the two governments told me. Why? First of all, see, I had mentioned to her grandmother that Felisha told me before I met her that two guys had raped her in Rocky Point. And she pointed out one to me when we were together, when we were walking. So Rigo and them fabricated what I mentioned about Ray, and called me, sent him the call recorded about some guy named Chris. That Chris went to Susie's wife, with Ray Finn's wife, and confessed to her office that he had killed her and dismembered her body. The call recorded are there. All Ray's call recorded. Like I said, they have. I'm still going to help her regardless of the outcome because it's not right what they had done to her. As the U.S. government had, told me about what's going on. I said, Leo, you got to find her. Why? Because she was with you and you're going to have to help her because they have, fabricated this whole thing using the technology they've been using. As I found out too with Mrs. Rios. And Rios had told me about this issue and I had addressed it to that fake agent many times. And I have sent numerous of times copies of everything calls recorded to her grandmother on her messenger and to her Felicia's 4 Facebook accounts. Of course, to Rigo's. I have sent copies I took pictures of the disposable phone of all the incoming text messages, calls recorded, and I took pictures of the call logs and logs of inbox. And Rigoberto still denies that, of threats, extortion, etc., etc. A picture that he wanted to send me that he never sent. The text message that I would never talk about her or Pamono like that. It's common sense, guys. Logical. Like I said, I'm still trying to give the benefit of the doubt to her grandmother and her. Because it's not right what they have done. They try to frame me for something it's not going to stick. They know that. Due to the fact that Felisha had called me one time. It was on Ray's phone. She said, Leo, I don't want to talk to you no more, babe. And I go like that. And some lady was there, and that lady told Ray, yeah, you did. You did tell her to say that. And Felisha, yes, you did. And what did Felisha say? I'll call you back, babe. Later. In the last call, on Ray Fling's phone. And it's, honestly, when I called her, Ray didn't want to pass the phone, as I was entitled, like I had mentioned. So he passed me the phone, we talked. So when I asked her, you sound funny. She said, oh, you have my bracelet. Remember the implant? I go, yeah. So I told her, well, tell Ray thanks for the implant. And she had told Ray, you'll hear the call too soon, guys. Ray, Leo said thank you for your teeth, for my implants. What is he going to do? Is he going to try to get me for attempted murder? And you guys will hear this call when he called me mentioning that she had killed Midget and he had put her in jail. And when he confesses there, he's trying to do your game, he's trying to do what you were trying to do for attempted murder. It won't work. It won't work. Well, now Mrs. Hirsch and Felicia could tell Ray too, bye-bye, little birdie. I highly recommend you guys to Google Facebook Gringo Loco Busted. You will see the comments and the comments of people that he had interest of conflicts, fights, and previously, that he has threatened people before. You guys can see them every call recorded I have, and I'm putting them on YouTube. You will see scriptures and parts of since 2003, 2013, and so on. I mean, Ray Fling, aka Gringo Loco, is also known as Batman or Tweety Bird, in Rocky Point, Puerto Peñasco. Before judging or listening, guys, going any further, just look that and you judge first the comments of 90% of the Canadians, Americans, and the Mexican community in Puerto Vallarta. Puerto Peñasco, Sonora, Rocky Point, aka. As I'm right here in Puerto Vallarta, due to the fact that logical, there, on this side. So it turned out to be. Hold on, guys. Because when that day, Ray Fling, aka Gringo Loco, had called me, he told me about Felisha had overdosed and passed away, and asked me for the amount of 30,000 pesos to help him cremate her. Who was going to believe that Ray Fling asked me for that money? How tight and stingy he is. That same day, he called me, him and Susie. I called her grandmother immediately. She sounded worried. She told me, well, Leo, first thing she said, I don't want Susie or Ray to touch her body. I said, ma'am, have you talked to the Mexican authorities? Have you called the American embassy to find out? She said she couldn't because her company provider wouldn't let her make long distance. So I asked her if she needed my assistance. So I put both of the phones that I have, so we could call. I called the Ministerio Público in Rocky Point. So that's when they gave us the bad news, because they wouldn't give me any information because I wasn't a family member. So what a coincidence that's with this number that I always give, like Rigoberto Morales, the text messages guy, and the threats. Also, how do you call it? The calls recorded. I know he put Felisha still under pressure with the 3 other suspects to pressure her grandmother and a fake agent to call me, state that 33 seconds that, Leo, watch out, they're going to get you, they're going to kill you. And you go hear her arguing again with Rigo. So that there's 3 calls recorded, one of 9 minutes and 4 seconds. With the first minute and 24 seconds, you could hear Felisha Marie Davis arguing with Rigoberto Morales Garcia. The last call, 33 seconds, you could hear from his phone her telling me these things. And I felt strongly, supposedly a year, May 17, it was the day that supposedly she had overdosed and passed away, that Bianca had put on her first Facebook profile. That's why you guys see